I'm thankful for what we do have. I'm not here to speak about any one individual, but I do think the system is broken. I've been watching it. I do think the budget is too much. I got 5 minutes. I do think that from the limited research I could do from the surrounding counties, I looked to see how many properties there were that were being appraised as best I could find it, because the information out there is very difficult to find. But I did go look at that, and I took their budgets as best I could and divided it out and found out that Bosque County is more expensive per property. This was last summer, more expensive per property than Somerville, Hill, and those two counties. So that's where I based mine, was based on data. I'm a CPA by practice. I do public accounting. I'm versed in understanding valuations. So I'm not a completely ignorant person here. So I want the appraisal board and the appraisers to think about that there are people out there. I mean, I've been out there over a year now watching this. So please get something going. This should not be this. That's not what when I requested a bigger room, this isn't what I expected. And I expect more from our county representatives, and I appreciate your time.
Chairman of the Appraisal Review Board. 6 years ago, Judge Carpenter called me at home on Saturday. It scared me at first. He wanted to know if I would start on the Appraisal Review Board. I agree. This is my 6th year. He has reapproved me every year, called me and asked me, and now I'm chairman. And I saw a list a moment ago of people coming up here with all these addresses and zip codes. And I'm going to tell you, come and protest your property. We would love to have you, and we try to be fair. Don't bring a list. Bring some information. Because people's houses are different. Their land is different. Some are homesteaded, some aren't. And we have to make our decision based on testimony and evidence. My husband and I are not from here. I don't know how to know. It's probably a good thing. But we lived in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas, and we chose Texas. And specifically, we chose Bosque County because we loved it. We had some dealings with Sunset Lutheran, and we decided to retire here. And when we first moved here, it was a peaceful, calm, fun community. Lately, and I live in Clifton. I live in Meridian or Walnut Springs. I can't go to the grocery store without someone gossiping. It's either about Chris Mosier, it's about Arlene Sweeney, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Amen. We have law enforcement. If you have, I'd appreciate if you wouldn't interrupt. If you have evidence against her, against him, take it to law enforcement. This social media stuff is a bunch of junk. And I don't think any of you want your kids to lose funding for your schools. And if these properties in Bosque County aren't up to par with the state, your children will have to be bused somewhere else. Now, we do the best we can. Last year we worked into December. And there were nights we stayed till 7 o'clock. And we do what we do to try to be fair to the citizens. And I'm going to leave with this. I get on Facebook because my kids don't live in town, and I go on there to see what they're doing. I'm so tired of seeing ugly remarks on there. That's not Bosque County. That's not where I moved to retire. the peaceful, nice community that we wanted. But that's what I see. And without wood, there is no fire. And without gossip, quarrels die. Stop your gossip. Go to the right authorities. If you have true testimony and evidence, do it. Otherwise, stop it.
How do you get caught with the link to it?
Jerry Whitmer. Whitmer. Trying. I ain't as young as I used to be.
It's still good.
Hello? I'm Jerry Whitmer, I'm out of Alamance. The gateway to Waco is what I'm hearing, and that's the reason all our property taxes in the last several years has gone up over 300%. So the farther away you are from Waco, the cheaper the taxes are. Not that they're cheap, but they're cheaper. Somebody said something to the fact, how many's been to a meeting? Well, I don't know, I've been to a lot of meetings. I try to glean information, so I just don't stand around with a pile on my face. One of the gentlemen, which I can't call because I've had so many conversations, is that I made the comment, we're taxing our older people right out of their homes. Kind of like when the big movie stars came into Waco, and a lot of them lost their homes and stuff like that. And that's a fact. They said, well, that's just like, I can't quote who did that. I'm not going to point at anybody because I don't remember. I'm only 77. I have a mobile home that's on 8 acres in Valley Mills, just outside the city limits. We built over it because it was only a 2-bedroom and there was 5 of us in the household. Today's value of it is, and it was built 50 years ago, and today's value of that mobile home is $250,000.
For a mobile home?
I'm going to sell it to buy me a brand new brick home. Mobile homes keep appreciating, but they always depreciate. And I'm told because the land price is going up that we have to stick the money on something. Okay, so no mobile home, that's hard to keep together. I need to see somebody tell me, oops, I messed that up. Gotta have my brains here with me. Somebody's making a statement that you have to put, or you can put, or you should put, I don't know which. I have several rental properties on mobile homes on my property. I rent to mostly working class, lower class people, so they have good, I try to provide a good home. And I'm told that you have to put, or need to put, or something, a mobile home per acre. And I've got 3 that's on 1 acre, so I just don't understand that. So I need to see a law about that. It was amazing, not this board, but what do you call the other board where I come and argue? I went to that board meeting thinking it was this board meeting. And it could just be one of those things. I went in, signed up to talk, and within the next 2 weeks, I started getting tax letters telling me what my taxes are. And a lot of my property went up 200%.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it just went up 150%.
Mm-hmm.
Mobile homes. Now, there is a law, I know, because I do a little research, that's called retaliation. Now, I can't prove that, just coincidental.
Mm-hmm.
Because I went to the wrong board meeting, I put my name on it, and then I started getting, I know it's all going up, it's gotta go do we put our old people out of their houses because they can't pay taxes? Social Security's not gonna increase. What are we gonna do with them? Put them all in rest home? I'm not far from there, but at least I'm still standing. I don't know the answer to all this. The way I read it, last tax season, my property, 8 acres, was 19,000 an acre. Just the land, you know, mobile homes or real property are different categories. 19,000 an acre. And I figured it out. It's been a long time since I've been to school. Thank God they put calculators on here. I figured 86.6 per acre this year. Wow. And I haven't done anything to that land. So that's a pretty good increase in just property. I hope I can sell it for that, because I've started selling it. I have one house that I just put on the market and sold. It was appraised, took a little over $200,000, and I got 125.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, older houses. I got a house in town, in Bosque, that was built in the 1800s. It was on a plantation, I was told. It was moved on Main Street in 1908, and it's still standing. We've done some remodeling. It's still an 1800 house. Yes, it's got some new sheetrock instead of the old cedar walls. Trying to seal off the breeze coming through. Put carpet on the floor, but you could actually feel the breeze coming up through it. But I don't know, some things just don't seem right.
Amen.
I think somebody mentioned it earlier, but I gotta mention it because it was on our Facebook stuff, and I don't know the truth about that. Somebody can answer that for me real quick. Is Bosque County got a nonprofit buying up property?
They established one to purchase property once a
What is
bill.
it? I don't know what it is. I just wondered.
Yep, they sure did.
That's what I'm asking.
And we've requested the proof of filing and all that good
They
tax.
probably don't want to answer very
I don't, all I know is, okay, I'm 77 years old. We live on retirement in a few rent houses, but we're getting ready to have to start moving away from that because of taxes. I can't keep going up on taxes on mobile homes and keep people out. Now, if there's nice brick houses, I guess I could. So they'll have to find someplace else to go. The old 1800 house is built right across, is standing right across the street where we just built new houses there on Live Oak. And my old 1800 house is the same behavior as the new house. Time? Thank you. Thank you.
Let's go, Daniel.
By the way, you provided information that he fraudulently concealed his address. It's confidential.
Is it on? All right, I want to just take it real quick. I won't take the whole 5 minutes. I know a lot of you guys know me, know that I speak my mind pretty heavily. But I just want to start with a few years ago, I believe it was 2019, maybe 20. Our taxes went through the roof, almost 400%. So I did some research into not who does the taxes and whatever. I wanted to know the property values of the appraiser. So I did some research. It was a Sunday afternoon. Looked up Mr. Moser's property. He has a full city block in the city of Morgan. I have about the same amount of space in my residence as he has in his residence. The houses were built almost the same time frame. They're almost the same condition. He has more property than that. His appraised property value was $400 a year. $400 a year for his property. His mother-in-law across the street, her property was appraised at $240 something, I believe, at that time per year.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I made that public on social media, that's how we spread news these days, that information blew up like a wildfire. It was short-lived. It was a short wildfire, but it was a wildfire. And Sometime later that afternoon, the name on the property was changed. It was no longer under Mr. Mosher's name. It was under his wife's name. So, my property has never changed except for planting a small garden with some tomatoes. We have not painted, we've never done anything, improvements to the property at all. Continuously goes up. I split the property now with the business that I own. So I am responsible for half the property. My company is now responsible for the other half of the property, which has a building on it, okay? So when I went to dispute it this last year, I wanted to dispute all of the properties that I have. I have three. One for the business, like I said, one for myself, and then investment property here in Meridian. So I wanted to find out what I could do to get those lowered. I did the right thing. I made a meeting. I went to the meeting. Sat down. Everything was good. I was told that there were many properties in Bosque County over the last few years that had been severely overinflated, which was the words that were used in that meeting. So I said, okay, well, I'm just concerned about mine right now. We'll worry about the rest later. So when we came to an agreement to lower the taxes on my property, those lower tax rebates were never applied to our property. The agreement never went through. There were never any comps available to show how anything was compared to our property. And so that amount went up again this year. So not only did it not go down the 2 years that we disputed, it stayed the same, and this year it went up again. So then we get to the company's part of the property, okay? It's the same property. The company just pays part of the taxes on it. So I went to, again, just to get the company's name put under my name on the property listing, so that way I could tell which one was which easier by opening the envelope. That happened very quickly, but it also came with an additional $50,000 added to the property value. Now, our company rents a building from me on my property. I have 2 desks in there. They're both from the 60s. I have a laptop that's new, an iPad, and a desktop for my secretary, and a phone. There are no improvements to that. We have not purchased any vehicles. We have not purchased anything else. We lost a vehicle in a wreck. We were compensated for that through insurance. We paid for another truck. There have been absolutely no improvements to that. As you can tell, I could probably use some new clothes here and there. We had a public meeting at their office facility, the last one that we went to, and after the mic was shut off to the public, I'll make this quick. It was explained that the increase in payroll was for Chris needing, requesting more money for being a licensed professional. As a licensed professional, I can tell you it is very expensive to maintain continuing education in your license every year. But it does not come with a huge price tag of what is being asked by you guys to pay for. I also want China Spring ISD is on the voter registration along with Bosque County Schools for some reason, and they also get to make a decision in Bosque County for your taxes. So you need to know that. There's 2 ways to follow the law. They're following it. I can tell you, they're following the law. There's 2 ways to follow it. You can either skirt the law and you can help your people, or you can skirt that law and you can hide your intentions from it.
Amen.
So it's up to you guys to decide what is happening here.
Jerry Golden. Jerry Golden. Okay, I believe that concludes Unless I missed anyone? Okay, that concludes the comments, and the meeting will be proceeding at this point into regular session.
I have a few things to say. I'm not sure that all of you understand, or perhaps you've forgotten, what happens with your property tax money. It goes to support the police, the schools, the hospital, the ambulance service. That's where they get their money, okay? And to really understand it, you have to go back to the 70s. I'm gonna pick 75 because it was 50 years ago. And I know some of you weren't born in 1975, but the rest of us old people are. There were no appraisal districts in the 70s. So what was happening, every single entity, the Abilene School, the Midland Hospital, just pick anything, they all had their own people appraising properties. And most of these people were on staff and they were about as qualified as my dog to appraise it. Needless to say, they were good. So along comes an old boy who gets himself elected to the House of Representatives named Wayne Peavito. Peavito was an attorney from Orange, and he had a farm. It takes Peavito about one session in Congress to figure out that that entity appraisal system wasn't working because all the schools, all the hospitals, every special interest group spent all their time whining at the House and the Senate looking for state aid, looking for money. The school districts were always over budget, and it was absolutely a wreck. So Peavito comes up with this plan to revolutionize a property tax in Texas. Well, he doesn't get it past the first couple of sessions because nobody likes change. But he finally did, and it went into effect on the 1st of January, 1982. The bill provided for a couple of things. The main thing was that every single county in Texas had to have an appraisal district, and they had to have a tax collector, okay? So the two main functions of the board of directors, which is specified in that bill, it's pages and pages of stuff, says that the two functions are, one, to oversee the budget of the appraisal district, and two, to hire a chief appraiser, okay? The tax collector collects the money. The bill says that no one on this board is allowed to interfere, intercede, meddle, or in any way come in contact with the appraiser about anyone's property values. I can't even talk to Chris about my own property value. I have to go to the ARB. So the rest of these people. So it's real specific where your money goes. And I can tell you, I've had people say, oh, we should eliminate property taxes. I can't think of a single reason ever why that would happen. But the legislature would take care of everybody if there were any property taxes. And it's exactly 3 words: state income tax. You would get screwed because the state will value your properties. The state will decide who gets money, okay? So the way that, it's hard to understand this, but every entity, the hospital district, the sheriff's department, whatever, the county, they all have the same thing everybody in here who has a business does. They've got expenses and they've got income. And if your income isn't more than your expenses, your business is going in the toilet, okay? There's a little kinky deal in this, and that is that the school districts have some state funding. So when they look at their budget, they've got, here's what we're gonna get for property tax, here's what we're gonna get from the state, and we're supposed to have a balanced budget. Bosque County schools do a pretty good job. The last I heard, the Dallas School District was 72 million over budget. So the next key thing in the whole deal is, if the property values aren't high enough in the county, all of these school districts stand the chance of the state not funding them because state audit the appraisal district. And if those values aren't within 5%, what the state of Texas in their whatever rate sells, if it's not within 5%, all they gotta do is say, no Walnut Springs, no Meridian, you're not getting any state aid because your values aren't high enough. Are you with me?
It is plus or minus 5%, so we could be at negative 4.9%, but we're not.
Please don't interrupt.
I got interrupted.
I have one more thing to say. My property taxes went up this year by $40,000. I didn't protest. And you know what? I can multiply, and I'm smart enough to know that that cost me $13.16 more a year to have an ambulance service.
Go less than your neighbors.
What did Mr. Moser pay this year?
$628 if I remember.
$628? Post what you paid, Chris.
If you want to stay with the rest of the meeting, you're welcome to. It'll be pretty quick, there's not much on the agenda, but suit yourselves. The first item is the consent agenda. You've already seen all the items in your packet. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Joe moves. Do you have a second? Tom Nichols, second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Number 5, discussion and approval of the MVBA updated contract. That would be our attorneys that represent the appraisal district. Do you want to address that, Chris? Or?
Mr. Tepper is here. If there's any questions, Mr. Tepper.
Oh, yeah, talk on that, I wanna hear it. Yeah, we're paying for it.
Thank you, Board. Matthew Tepper, I'm the president of the Superior Consultant Bracken Allen. We're the law firm. We represent both the appraisal district. We also represent the county in tax collection. Previously, our contract with the board was at a rate of $190 an hour. We've been at that rate for many, many years. That is a rate that is well below the market value for lawyers in this field. And so we've been going around to all of our clients this year, and we're increasing our rate to $250, which we think is still very reasonable and still far less than what other attorneys in our field and all of our experience do. So we would ask the board to approve our contract. Any questions y'all have, I'll be happy to answer.
You represented the county for over 30 years.
Yeah, we worked in the county for a very long time. We just took over representing the appraisal district 4 or 5 years ago.
I can assure you that rate is cheap.
No.
My son is an attorney, and they bill him over $1,000 an hour.
We prefer the term apart. We prefer the term apart.
I'm sorry, it's a bargain, not cheap. Okay. Any board discussion? Chris, do you have anything to add? No?
They're very easy to work with.
Okay. Board members, do we have any discussion? Do I have a motion to approve their updated contract? Mike Myers makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Joe. Those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Number 6, discuss the date and time for the next meeting.
August 21st. Is the next, third Thursday in August 21st.
At what time?
Whatever time it is.
Okay, we'll get back to everybody on time. August the 21st. Do we have any more discussion?
I move we adjourn this meeting.
Remind me, Linda, what's my
I need a motion on the next meeting
calendar
date?
at home?
No. Joe moves we adjourn.
You said
Mike? Michael Myers, second. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.